Happy Saturday everybody. So today was very interesting. I actually went for an audition at Movie World. It was a very generic audition, but it was for Fright Nights, so the Halloween nights at Movie World. Americans would have your regular Halloween mazes and Universal Halloween Horror Nights. They're a miniature version of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. They're Movie World standard, so Australian standard, because we don't have the greatest outlay of films and such like that. So I'm going to tell you about the audition, what happened this audition. They said that previous years it was different, so this year the person who actually designs the mazes hasn't designed them this year, but he was still a part of the casting process. Fortunately I don't remember his name, but he was so nice. So they lined us up at the security gate when we got there at 10:30. We didn't go through until maybe 10:35ish, and then they led us through one of the backstage areas, through like where they hold the alcohol and the drinks and stuff like that, and through a costuming warehouse where they had racks of costumes, and while I was trying to take in as much as I could of what was on the racks, the signs on the end said Friday the 13th, Wolf Creek, and one was called Freaks, and that was the one I was looking at the most because, I don't know, clowns, I don't know, I feel like I would be perfect scary clown for some reason. So when we went into another demountable, I guess they're called, demountable offices, there was 4 tables and we all sat around them and filled out our audition paperwork, which was just one sheet that had like characteristics and likes and stuff like that, but we only filled up the top, which was if it was casual, our names, if we had any time off booked and such like that. When I went into this audition, I thought I wouldn't get it to begin with, so not that I don't feel like I could have gotten it, it's just that I have a holiday booked from the 15th to the 24th of August, not August, of September, and usually they start doing things at the end of September for October that usually are mandatory, so that in my head I thought I was already out because of that. But when we got in there, the days that were mandatory for us to be there was from the 2nd to the 1st of November, which is the Fright Night weekends, and there was training on the 16th, the 19th, the 24th and the 25th. So we sat down at our tables and they pulled up each table one at a time. So the first table had four guys in it. So to start off with, at the start they told us that there was 700 applicants to 200 roles, and 20% of that was guys, 80% of that were women. So already you're at 1 out of 4, and then take out the fact that twice that is women who are applying, and there's only so many roles that women can play, and that's not to be discriminative or anything like that. Usually in horror movies, if you look at horror movies, yeah. So they were also auditioning specific roles. They weren't mass producing roles, so zombies or clowns or anything like that. So it became even tighter for the outcome of what you could get. So the first group, like I said, had 4 dudes in it. The first dude looked bulky, so I think it was something to do with Mike Myers or something like that. Then there was 2 dudes who scared the bejeebus out of me. That's all I can say. They looked like ordinary surfer dudes, and then they were asked to do what I would call reactions to particular role or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what they were asked to do, but it looked like they were like some rabid zombie thing, because they were banging on tables and growling at people and stuff like that. They obviously looked like they had either done many of them previously, the Halloween Horror Nights or the Fright Nights here, or they have a background in acting, or they just that good. The next one up was another dude. He was very lanky. I don't think he went through, but definitely the 2 boys did. I can't remember if they let the first dude through as well. None of the girls went through except for one, I believe, because they kept on asking people if they had aerobics background, so gymnastics or silks or anything like that. I'm sorry that I'm moving around, but my leg is really sore. So that was the first group. Pretty sure the girl went through. The second group came up and they pulled forward 2 girls. They asked one of the girls to do a reaction to being scared of something, and you could obviously tell that she was an actor, because nobody would be that great at just going like boom and doing what she did. Screaming at the top of her lungs and falling to the ground and everything like that. It was like something you would see on screen. Turns out she had an acting background and a dancing background, so like most roles, if you apply for Disney as a character, or usually anything that's to do with theme parks, you need to have a dance background. Then I think she was the only one to go through in that group. Then our group went up. Our entire table were girls. A lot of them had dancing background or some sort of gymnastic background. But out of the entire group, without being asked first if we had our aerobics background, they pulled me forward. Now, that has never happened to me before, and just to get to that point, I was happy enough with that. All of the other girls on my table were pretty disappointed, but I'm like, to me, just getting pulled forward without having any sort of background at all. I don't have an acting background, I don't have gymnastics background, I don't have a dance background, I just simply am me. And to have them look at me and have some sort of role that I could have possibly gone into, that's pretty good, and I'm happy with that outcome. And I don't think anything else I could have done could have changed the outcome that I didn't get through, but that's okay. Like, I'm very happy at what I've done, considering I was not going to go into audition to begin with. I was actually going to cancel my audition time, so I'm pretty happy with that. So then we went up to the table. So they pulled me forward, sat down, and we just had a chat about my background. The only entertainment background I have that's recent, that isn't high school or anything like that, is my character attending at Walt Disney World, and that's all I could give them. I don't do anything recently. I stopped singing back before Disney, so that's 2013, 2012, so I've lost most of my professional training in that. So to get to that point was pretty good. They wrote a lot about me on my sheet, so I don't know if they pulled forward people for costuming, whether they will get a second chance at doing it. I'm not sure on that point, but what they said, if you get culled in the first round, then that's it. The next round was costuming, and the next one after that was if the role required any technical ability, they would do a short acting bit. So to get to that point, I'm pretty happy. Like, I've done a Disney audition, and moderate movement meant a whole dance routine, and obviously I was culled in that one, but and not even being brought forward. So I'm pretty happy with my outcome, and maybe next year, maybe the year after that, who knows, but I'm pretty happy with that. Most of the people walked out of that room absolutely devastated for some reason. When you're up against 699 other people for 200 roles, it's going to be difficult, and I had fun. It's good. It's always good to see the background of how auditions go. I know now how a Disney casting audition goes. I now know how a Fright Night audition goes, but I don't know. I had a good day. I think if you don't try, you're not going to get an outcome. The casting director said, he was like, the people who are not here today, if they already got an audition, have zero chance, while we all had a chance. So if you don't give it a go, you don't get anywhere. So I guess if you ever have a chance to do something that probably you wouldn't have done before, you never know what the outcome is, and you should always try to do things that are outside the box. And I've applied for jobs that are definitely outside the box of what I'm used to, and I've gotten them, and I have no ability in the background to them, but I still gave it a go. And I think that's what most people should do. I know my generation and below me are very lazy and want to get everything given to them, but you can't get something given to you if you don't try. So if you're going for a Fright Night audition, definitely do it. Definitely put your application in. I believe the ad came up beginning of August, maybe earlier, but I think it closed on the 24th, I'm gonna say. So there's plenty of time to get your resume in. And I put my resume in and my cover letter in without putting a photo on it, and it said mandatory. So definitely give it a go. You never know what's going to happen. So that's roughly the audition process for Fright Nights in a nutshell for 2015. I'm not sure if they're going to change it next year, but definitely this year that's how it went. Alrighties, hope you have a great weekend, guys. Bye.